news was the Nets trading Mikal Bridges to their cross-bridge rivals, the Knicks. But the stunning part of the deal was how much the Knicks gave up for Bridges. 4 unprotected first-round picks in 2025 and 27 and 29 and 31. A protected 2025 first-round pick via Milwaukee, the Knicks' unprotected 2028 pick swap, and a 2025 Nets second-round pick. Wow. Ooh, okay.
Man.
So now Bridges joins 3 teammates, of course, on the Knicks. He played with at Villanova in 2017. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo. The Nova Knicks indeed. So now the Knicks hope to re-sign OG Anunoby, who opted into free agency yesterday. So, Paul, if they do re-sign Anunoby, scale of 1 to 10, how big a threat will the Knicks be to your Celtics next year?
Are they going to sign Jay Wright too as coach? I mean, goodness gracious, Skip. Come on. You just got the whole Villanova team on the New York Knicks.
Yeah. Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I give them about a 5.5.
Do you really? I'm surprised you went that high.
Yeah. I gave them without Anunoby, it's at a 5. But to me, I think they needed another superstar. Yeah, they got more depth, of course, and this is something they needed. But I felt like they had a little depth. They just didn't play it. You know, you had McBride, probably should have played more minutes. Burks should have played more minutes early in the playoffs. But, yeah, you add another guy. But the thing to me is people tend to forget the other teams in the East that are going to get better. Indiana, you know, they don't just jump up to a threat to the Celtics because they were 1 round away. Indiana's going to be better next year, too. Mathurin's going to come back. I mean, you know, you got to figure a healthy Philly team probably beats them if Joel Embiid's not playing on one leg. If he's not playing on one leg, it took him that was a tough series for them. Milwaukee, they probably got to figure they'll probably be better next year, too. So as far as their threat to the Celtics, they better hope they sign Anunoby because they're going to drop down to a 2 if they don't. Because if you don't got athletic wings that can guard and knock down threes, you have no shot against the Boston Celtics. So, yeah, I like what they did in adding depth. But the thing is, they're going to have chemistry issues. I mean, think about this. Brunson, the way they played in the playoffs, if they were healthy, you probably got to say maybe they beat Indiana, but who knows? You know, Brunson giving you 29 a game. So now you got to come back with Randall the next year, who gave you 25 a game. You got to implement him. Now you got to implement Bridges, who averaged 20. So how is that going to change the way Brunson played? He has to turn into a passing guard now. But we all know he's at his best when he's scoring. Dribble, 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 dribble. That's what we said all year, but that's what he was good at. So as far as a threat to the Celtics, 5.5 with Anunoby. You know, so pretty much not much of a threat.
It sounds like you're dismissing Mikal Bridges' depth, right? You added depth? Like, is he just depth?
I think you need another superstar. Like, if you had to say they added Paul George or they added KD, I would have been like, oh, okay. That sounds like more of a threat to me. But they still come into a pistol fight with a knife, and that ain't enough.
I would say it's a 6 without, a 7 with OG. It's 7 with OG. And it's not look, the Knicks had an opportunity last year this past season against Indy to get it done. They couldn't get it done. They ran out of gas. Brunson got banged up, hurt. They lost OG. But if you look at those games, you clearly can see that they was in all of the games. They was right there to the end, and they just ran out of gas. So add another piece like Mikal Bridges to the party. And then in terms of chemistry, yeah, they got to get chemistry with Randall. And maybe, you know, they got to figure out who takes the shots in certain situations. But as far as chemistry, it's 4 of them. They played together in college.
Oh, they lost
know each other.
Too. They lost Harkenstein.
You know,
they're going to lose him.
Well, they haven't,
but they
will.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't yet. So when you look at where they're at, I think they right there. Now, it's still moves to be made. We don't know how this thing gonna shake out over the next several months until the season starts with people.
7 though. Huh? Not a 7, Key. Not a 7.
What? You don't want it to be a 7? Just say
7.
You don't want it to be a 7.
It's not a 7. They're not that close.
So you don't think that they a threat at all?
Not as constructive.
Even though you won the NBA final, you went through not a gauntlet, It wasn't even close to a gauntlet to get there.
They lost to Indiana in 7. We swept them, Key.
Yeah, but you also swept Indiana. You also swept Indiana when Indiana was tired. When Halliburton basically he didn't play the last 2 games, I think it was?
Yeah.
Game and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from the Celtics.
No, it ain't that. But we're saying how close are the Knicks?
A 7.
No.
With OG, they not a 7?
No.
You gave them a 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
And a 6 with them.
So if you took a test and you got a 5.5, that's still an F.
But
with 10 questions.
you gave them a 5.5 without even a 6.
If you got 10 questions and you get 5.5 of them right, that's still an F.
No, that's true.
right.
That sounds just like the Kansas grade scale, right?
But Skip.
Wait, did you go to Kansas?
Yeah, I went to Kansas University.
Did you go to class, actually?
Sometime when it
you
wasn't
went to
snowing.
class?
But look, Paul, check this out, though. Y'all won a championship, man. You went through Miami, who wasn't fully healthy. You went through Cleveland, not healthy. You went through Indy, not healthy. And then you ran up on a team. Most people would say that the guy that you beat in the championship wasn't healthy, too, as an excuse. But I'm just saying, to get out of the East, you went through some teams that wasn't healthy. And then if you would have seen the Sixers, they wasn't healthy. Put it this way, the entire East wasn't healthy.
Okay.
I'm just saying, you can't just dismiss them. You can't do that.
How about this prediction before you go, Skip? Look at Mikal Bridges' longest active games played is 474 this year. Oh, that's going out the window on the 10s. that streak going to be over.
I thought of that.
That streak is going to be over.
Because he has been Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, that Iron Man streak on the 10s, that's out of there.
Okay. All right.
Dude averaging 20 a game, but you act like that's just chopped liver.
No, that ain't chopped liver on the worst team. Go ahead, Skip.
Keyshawn, I'm sorry. I got to go with duck boat on this. Except I'm way below duck boat.
You probably a 2.
I'm a 2. You got me. You guessed it. I wrote down a 2 because as much as I enjoyed watching the Knicks and rooting for the Knicks, and they got great grit and fight and spunk and hustle and, loose ball urgency and all that good stuff, all those intangibles, I just don't love the tangibles enough. I don't love the supreme talent enough. You give me OG and Mikal on the wings, and they're 2 long, athletic, defensive-oriented wings. Mm-hmm. They got some PG and Kawhi younger versions going, where
I would say that's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
No, that's not even.
Yeah, but they
young
can
PG and a Kawhi.
Them too.
On defense. I'm talking about on defense.
I give them that.
On defense. On defense.
Good.
Yes.
No, okay, I give them that.
Where they can threaten your 2 supremely talented wings. At least they can match up, and that's what they just did. Leon Rose just said, damn the future. I'm going completely all in for right now, next year, right?
Well, completely all in right now for next year, we've been going after KD with that package.
Okay.
Going after Paul George with the same trade package.
They still, by the way, I'm thinking about this, and I haven't read anything about it yet, but Paul George is still sitting out there, and he's about to become as free as a bird.
And they got cap space.
Okay, and you could just say, would we rather have Paul George than Anunoby? Maybe.
Okay, now you talking.
Okay.
Now you talking. Okay, now the scale goes up.
But now you got some age factor with Paul George, and we're going to get deeper into his value in a few minutes here, but he is still 34 after 14 NBA seasons. Yeah. He's been there and done all that, and he's not a 1A kind of star to me. He's more of a 1B kind of a star. But would he be a little better this coming year than Anunoby? Maybe a little bit better. Yeah. Just on star power, just on mystique, you would be a little more afraid of him than you would be of Anunoby,
Absolutely.
Right? Even though Anunoby contributed to a championship, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So my problem with the Knicks is, you mentioned dribble, 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 dribble. So I just looked back
all of this
before the show, and I thought Luka dribbled the literal air out of the basketball through the playoffs, and he got worse and worse the deeper and worse it got against you guys. Mm-hmm. But Jalen Brunson led the playoffs in usage rate, the whole playoffs. He led with 36.4, and Donovan Mitchell was second, and Luka went up third because in the first 2 rounds, Luka wasn't dribbling the air out of it the way he was against the Celtics or even against Minnesota. So my point is, Jalen Brunson, you want to talk about dribbling the basketball to death. after a while watching the Knicks, you just sit back and say, okay, just shoot it. Just go ahead.
So how do you implement all of that? That's what I'm saying.
I know.
But that's at a time where they had to have him do that.
Yeah.
Think about it. They didn't have nothing else. They had lost all their players that could contribute.
Yeah,
they didn't know that Josh Hart would score at the times he was scoring and DiVincenzo would do what he was doing. And
he was tremendous.
So they didn't know that. So, yeah, of course he's going to dribble.
Okay, and to your point, Hartenstein is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Okay, Hartenstein, they're not going to be able to keep him because he was really good through the playoffs. Yeah. The numbers don't sound that great. He averaged 9 and 8, but his 8, half of them were offensive rebounds. Half of the 8. So he had 4 offensive rebounds a game. And he shot 86% from the free throw line, which will work